उफ़ाक़ आज़ादी, एक लतीफ़ एहसास जैसे एक खुशबख्त हसीना का लम्स, एक ख्वाब जिसकी ताबीर मुश्किल पर नामुमकिन नहीं। चलते रहना साथियों कि ये वो हकीकी मंजिल नहीं। तेरी मेरी आज़ादी के उफ़क़ की ताबीर, जन्नतुल फ़रदौस बर रूए ज़मी मेरा कश्मीर। Freiraum, spheres of freedom, a gentle fervor akin to the touch of an elegant, pious woman, a dream difficult to turn into reality but not impossible. Keep walking, comrades. The cherished destination is yet to come. Your and my Freiraum, heaven on earth, my Kashmir.
Loneliness is the desire to stay away from others' thoughts on your own world, a feeling that can lead to depression, so that you become obsessed with bad things and begin to imagine all that is bad. When you lose confidence in close people and friends here begin your first symptoms of isolation that it's hard to get out of. Then you have to find someone standing by you at all times. Your spirit will not leave you, and nowadays it's hard to find. Thank you.
This is Love Is by Nick Robinson. I only got it this morning, so I'll do my best. Love is a strong word, perhaps the strongest word we possess in language. A word transcending beyond language, entering into another sphere of existence entirely. We are fascinated by the word, trying in vain to capture its essence, its very spirit, delve into our own fragile experiences to extract hidden gold. But just as we feel that we have closed our metaphoric fingers around it, our emotions rise up, tugging at our heartstrings, presenting other elements to be classified as love, and so it continues. Perhaps this is why we love it so. It will always be beyond our understanding, ahead of our emotional intellect, an impossible task to undertake, as we are the very cornerstone of the emotion, too close to encapsulate it in full. So here we are, in this quandary, this love soup. Instead of trying to explain the impossible, let me turn to what I know and love. I have a love affair, not only with my partner, but with a place. Its very character sends me into a kind of rapture. Its snow-capped peaks so high they melt seamlessly into the sky. Its features so bold, every mountain town or ground-out coombe becomes a majestic object of beauty, a minor masterpiece in their own right. This place, of course, is Lakeland, and like love, it fills me with the multiple waves of wonderment and intrigue. Here in Lakeland, a land not so very far away, the stresses of life sink away until they're hidden beyond thought, beyond memory, and it's only when I leave that these feelings return. I feel a part of the landscape, away from the crowds, away from the talk and tittle-tattle that fill my gaze. Here, in Lakeland, I have been cleansed, like I have bought into something wholesome, a free place of nature and tranquility. I hear the sheep bleating and the wind, but nothing else. It is so quiet as the sun caresses my skin, and a feeling has eclipsed my heart too. Here there are no distractions from the sheer sublimity that paralyse my senses. When I walk alone, in the quiet, I can fully focus not only on the marvels of nature that stand before me, but retreat deep into thought as well. the landscape somehow aiding my imagination and capacity for concentration. It is here, on the roof of the world, that I have somehow gained superhuman abilities. And it is here I dwell a while, knowing that this feeling is only fleeting. I spy from my high location other mountains, and beyond them more again. They feel to me like waves coming in from the sea, overlapping and continue as far as the eye can make out. There is a sense of timelessness generated by them, stretching far and beyond. A connection with infinity, I think, branching out into outer space and the unknown. As I look out across the range of mountains, I realise that I do not know these fells at all. And even though I have climbed them, their hearts remain untouched and unblemished. It is then that I realise that, like love, I have not grasped this magical place at all. Too close, too emotionally involved to quantify my love for them.
Between the lines, high tide. The woman is taking photographs of the child flying a kite on the beach. The glare from the sun obscures the image. Maybe chance will catch the moment. Blue skies, the kite tugging at the thread that binds it to the child. Laughter filling the silence. I'm flying, the child shouts. Oyster catcher, lapwing, curlew. Turning tide. The woman scrambles through brambles, gorse, climbs over worn masonry blocks to the pier end. Where's the merry-go-round, the candy floss, the goldfish in a plastic bag, the slot machines, the tea room, the child asks. The woman ratchets through rubble, broken bricks, picks up a rivet, bolt, phalange. She stands beside 6 cast iron stanchions, remnants of the viaduct that once linked north to south. In the shallow waters on the far side of the estuary, fishermen are half-netting. The child waves, but they don't see her. Low tide. The woman crosses the salt marsh and walks towards the Irish Sea, the estuary, an expansive, strange landscape of tidal sands, mudflats, silence. She searches, picks up shells, pink tellins, cockles. If Scotland is over there and we live in England, where are we now? The child asks. No man's land, she replies. Greyscale images of concrete walls, barbed wire, watchtowers, news reports of deaths in that desolate space between east and west, another border. We can walk over, the child says. How far is it? A mile and a bit, but it's treacherous. Quicksands, dangerous currents. The sea roars in so quickly, we would drown. No, we would swim, the child says. Later, the woman will look at the photographs, images of a woman squinting, tight-lipped, confused. No child flying a kite on the beach, no blue skies, no laughter. Thank you.
I take refuge in the spirit that surrounds me. I take refuge in the spirit within me. I take refuge in the path I am travelling. I take refuge in my companions on the path. I take refuge in the spirit that surrounds me. I take refuge in the spirit within me. I take refuge in the path I am travelling. I take refuge in my companions on the path. I take refuge in the spirit that surrounds me. I take refuge in the spirit within me. I take refuge in my path as I travel it, and I take refuge and my companions on the path.
This is a song. Isolation is overcome 3 ways. Love, community, connection. This is a song about all 3. It's called Everything Must Change. Murmuration of starlings washed over Portland Square. They carved your name, they spelt your face across the twilight air. I saw your brown eyes smile at me, my heart moved wing to wing. And then the air went tidal like the sea. The earth began to sing. Everything must change. I walked along the petrol river. I walked it edge to edge. I saw the rowan and the briar, the blackthorn and the sedge, and they were fruiting for the fisher king, as blue as solwing sky. It says there is not one true thing, my heart says otherwise. Everything must change. Everything will change. Everything must change. Everything will change. The stones in the cathedral in Carlisle Castle speak of you. They sigh, they whisper as you pass. They speak of things you knew. And love gives itself up to the air. The moon will offer thanks. And then the silver spills out everywhere, and the Eden bursts its banks. Everything must change. Everything will change. Everything must change. Everything will change. Everything will change. Everything will change. If you're looking for seats, I think you can put them down there.
Breathing space, a place to relax and consider. It is not cutting someone's hair, performing a surgery however minor, fixing a computer while its owner watches over shoulder, rolling a cigarette for a gasping friend, or cooking in an occupied kitchen. It is writing a letter the recipient is not expecting, planning an elaborate birthday surprise, forgetting that deadlines exist, and stirring in the middle of the night with a comfy vastness still to go. It is not cokes and groceries into bags while you hold up a queue, wondering which day will be the day you have to find somewhere new, or being in a taxi. It is being told the world is your oyster. It It is not discovering that you don't like oysters, and they like you even less. It is not undressing in front of someone for the first time. It is undressing in front of a partner most other times. It is a matter of perspective. It is not being told that your perspective doesn't matter. It is not being alone when your soul aches. It is being alone when your mind does. It is necessary. It is not always possible. It is stifling sometimes, yearning to be filled. Thanks, I think that went all right.
هذا الحجار النظرة إليها هي رائعة، لكنها في نفس الوقت تتحدث عن أيامنا رغم كسور قلبنا. نبتسم لنا ولغيرنا، نحاول أن نهزر حياتنا رغم قتل الإنسانية. العزلة هو شيء مؤلم مجرد التفكير به، ولكن رغم مأساة الحياة أقاوم. رغم أني خرجت من وطني لم أستسلم، أفكر في القادم. نحن نعتبر أنفسنا أحياء، لكننا في الواقع منسجنون في قلبنا. يتحدث قلبي كشاب دائما رغم تدمر حياته. تمنيت حياة جديدة وحاربت العزلة وأخذتها كصاحب وعاشرته، وتغيرت حياتي يوما تلو الآخر. وذهبت من العزلة، ابتسمت الحياة وكافحت عزلتي بنفسي.
These stones are wonderful looking at them, but at the same time, talking about our days, despite the fractures of our heart, they smile to us and to others and try to dazzle our lives. Despite the lack of humanity in this world, isolation is only a painful thing. But despite the tragedy of life, I resist. And although I left my country, I did not give up thinking about the next. We consider ourselves alive, but in fact, prisoners in our heart. My heart speaks as a young man always, despite everything he has gone through. I wished a new life and fought isolation, and took it as a friend and changed my life. Day by day, and went to isolation. I smiled for life and got rid of isolation myself. Oh.
This is the tiny boy who lives on my record. The tiny boy who lives on my record has just woken up. As per usual, tiny hands flick the on switch and tiny footprints scratch the groove into vinyl floorboards. He'll see me watching, give a tiny smile and dig his tiny hands into the music to wring out the static. His tiny black suit and tiny black cap seem appropriate. Without any rent, an eviction notice is imminent.
This is Sphere of Freedom. I've been on my own, I've been with others. There's a time and a place for each, I suppose. When I'm alone, I am isolated, which is sometimes just exactly what I need, and other times it is not. But I am lucky. I've always felt I was. Ever since I was a child, I knew how lucky I was. I live in a free society where the choice is mine. Some have no option. Circumstances force them to feel cut off, uncared for, deprived, neglected, rejected, and it's surely no surprise that discontentment becomes a movement against the status quo. Whatever you want, whatever you need, it's time to upset the apple cart. It's time to rip up the rule book, tear it all apart, give the leaders a damn good kicking. Ordinary folks sticking it to the man. Disquiet, discontent toward arrogant, tone-deaf government. The times they are changing, but I'm not sure things were really all that bad. Trade is good. You welcome hard-working people to the neighbourhood. Economic harmony, a train line straight to France. Why not give peace that chance? You disagree? Well, that's democracy, right or wrong, the public vote. But evil will not be tolerated. Sadly, it cannot outlaw stupidity. It's a most human quality to make mistakes. You'd hope we could learn from them, but that's not always the case. Time and time again, the ramifications of poorly made decisions affect whole nations, plunging us into uncertain times, strange times, modern times. Surely, in this age of instant communication, clarity, tact, and understanding should be the commonality, superseding closed thinking of kingdom, state, or nation. But for every thought there is an argument in favour and against. The pace of change is quick, so fast it makes some sick, and long for a time, a mythical time in our past, a shared past, which I suspect never really existed. And through this shared hallucination, we plunge our sovereign nation into crisis, into disintegration, to dis or knock the notion of togetherness, of integration. Alone, we are nothing. Nothing but isolated. But is our isolation real or mere perception? We must avoid more underhand deception. Only by opening up channels of communication can we learn and heal ourselves again. Our neighbours are not our foes. They're friends who share our woes. What the future holds, who knows? But we have a chance to take. Let us make it and see where this journey goes. For this ancient island kingdom is our treasured sphere of freedom. Thank you very much.
So this is called recasting. You have realised now that you are afraid you will never have children of your own, that taking a bullet for somebody else's child is not the same thing as love. And though you have no rings, no family heirlooms, save the gin bottles, the dresses your mother wore before you were born, a chain of women reaching through the years, holding out their empty hands, that there is freedom in slow decline, and time to leave instructions, that they do not bury you in a coffin, but rather a sack, like a cocoon, the way archaeologists find Neanderthal gravesites, with the deceased left carefully in fetal positions. And tell your father not to stand at the back of the service like an illegitimate son.
أحيانا أود الوقوف على قمة جبل، الرياح قوية، أنا فقط، حيث الرياح تأخذ كل شيء بداخلي. ربما بهذه الطريقة أنسى كل شيء. جربت كل الطرق ولكن دون جدوى. حدثت أشياء كثيرة لأنني لاجئة أو لأنني فتاة لاجئة. كل شيء كان أكثر ألما، أكثر وحدة. تخيل نفسك في مكان لا أحد معك، لا أحد يفهمك أو يساعدك. كنت دائما أتمنى العودة والبقاء في الحرب. قد أرى صديقا جارا أتحدث إليه يفهمني، يساعدني في الخروج من هذا العالم القاتم. حتى صديقي البكاء لم يعد يساعدني مثل قبل. قابلت فتيات في نفس عمري قبل مجيئي إلى هنا. رأيت في أعينهن قصصا، لكني لم أتمكن من إخبارهن بما كان يحدث في داخلي. لقد حاولت كثيرا. ربما كنت بحاجة إلى ذلك الصديق الذي يفهمني عندما ينظر إلى عيني دون الحديث. كنت أحتاج إلى ذلك حقا. هذا الدمار في داخلي سينتهي يوما ما. يجب أن ينتهي. كل هذه الأقلام والأوراق صنعت للتخلص من الحروب في العالم وفي قلوبنا. سأسمع أغنيتي المفضلة كما لو كانت الأولى. سأقول لأمي صباح الخير بصوت عال سأشعرها بأنني نشيطة وتناول وجبة الإفطار كما لو أخوتي وأبي معنا. سأسمع والدي يقول إن ابنتي الجميلة تقدم الشاي اللذيذ. كل هذه اللحظات الجميلة التي تجعلني أشعر أنني على قيد الحياة.
Say Shireen's Kurdish, but she didn't bring a Kurdish translation. That's why she's reading in Arabic. She speaks loads of languages. She's amazing. But I'm going to read the translation in English. This is her poem. Sometimes I would like to stand on top of a mountain where the wind is strong. Just me standing and the wind taking everything inside of me with it. Maybe in this way I can forget everything. I have tried all the other ways, but nothing happened. Many things happened. I'm a refugee girl. Everything feels painful. I'm more lonely than. Imagine yourself in a place where no one is with you, no one can understand you, and no one can help you. I have wished to return and stay in war. I might see a friend, a neighbour. I can ask him to understand me, to help me out of this gloom, this world. But even my friend is crying and can no longer help me as before. I met girls my age before I came here. I saw in their eyes their stories, and I could not tell them what was going on inside of me. I've tried many times. Maybe I need that friend who understands me by looking in my eyes without speaking. I need that. This destruction I feel inside me must end someday. All these pens and paper were meant to rid us of wars in the world and in our hearts. I will play my favourite songs as if it were the first time I did, and tell my mother, "Good morning," out loud, and feel her love and feel awakened while we're having breakfast. It will be as if my brothers and father are with us, and my father says, "My pretty daughter, make us some delicious tea." Sorry. All these beautiful moments will make us feel alive.
Got some Cumbrian dialect in this poem because this is where I'm from. It's called This Parlish Land. Learn to step lightly on the land, I tell my lad, for we are but flickering instances on this lava bed. The flish-flash frisks of white, of tails, of cottons, of asses, stipple and dapple and twinkle like stars. And like the stars, this land is ancient and far-reaching and formed in a time of ice. Distant cousins cover the hilltops and hodden-grey the fells. The saddle scored by snow-filled paths, a lazy snail through blittered grass. We labber, sizel, peltle, blash. We unlock language with a hovering lavrock's wing. We leave our fossile hole where others once have trod and feel the pull of time around us. We will return, as all return, circle our remains to rejoin ash. We are star remnants, a grimming on the ground, fallen angels. And yet, we walk among volcanoes, under glacier tracks. We are all time in a timeless land. Dots and speckles under cirrus-spackled skies. We are now in an always moving then, and we step and stotter lightly in this Parlish land, knowing it is ours.